Okay, so first thing you will need to know for this is just the formulas for all the area formulas for your shapes. These are all on the back page of your notes as well. And I put 2 blank ones on there if you look to help you kind of study, because you will have that equations portion of your test again. So there's, if you look here, top one has it filled out, bottom 2 are blank to help you study, okay? All right, so area formulas, circle the area. So we just did this one. We find the area by pi times r squared. Okay, triangle. Anyone remember triangle? Here's how I remember it. A triangle is, you don't need to draw this, but it's half of a parallelogram, okay? So I take 1/2. And then how do you find the area of parallelogram or rectangle? You do what times what? Base times height. So a triangle is half of the base times the height. Sometimes they're going to give you different measurements on that. So just look at this real quick. Like maybe they say, you don't need to write it, but 2, 3, 4. Okay, well I know like this 4 is just there. Yes, kind of to trick you, but they want you to pick out the right ones. I always think I need the 2 that are a right angle to each other, okay? So those are the 2 that you're actually going to use when you're looking for area. Okay, trapezoid, this is probably the longest one. Area equals 1/2 times the height times, and then you're going to add the bases because a trapezoid actually has 2 bases, okay? It's the B1 plus B2. So those aren't like exponents, it's just showing you this is one of the bases, this is the other base. Okay, square. Few ways you can remember square. You can just think base times height, or what's different about a square from a rectangle? What about the sides is different? They're all equal. So you can just do, so side times side is the same as the side squared. So if the side is 5, I know I'm going to do 5 times 5 or 5 squared. Okay, rectangle. So again, you can think of this as length times width or base times height. On your equation test, I would accept either, okay? Okay, and then parallelogram is the exact same. Base times height. You do have to make sure, like, why would this side here not be the height? This there. It's slanted. Height needs to be measured straight up. So again, look for that right angle. You want this one and that one it touches. Okay? So you gotta be careful on picking those out. All right. Okay, and then to find perimeter, so just a reminder on this, perimeter is the distance around the outside of the shape, okay? So what do you do with all of the sides to get that total distance? Add them. So do be careful. I always try to reread the directions on these questions because there's a lot of things that they could ask for. None of them are that hard. You just have to make sure it's the right one they want, okay? Perimeter, area, surface area. All right, find the area of each figure. Round to the nearest tenth. So the first one here, that is a what kind of shape? No, it's not a square because the sides are not equal. So it's a what? Rectangle. So all we're gonna do is plug into the formula on each of these. I don't care if you write the formula and then plug in, or if you plug directly into it, okay? So what is the length here? Technically, I always think L for longer. What? 4.7. You're probably gonna see I do a lot of times with an X on this unit because there's so many decimals that I don't want you to get confused between the decimal and the times. And the width is 3.9. Okay, what'd you guys get? Point what? 33? Okay. If it's 18.33, you can just, since it does say nearest tenth, and that, I just want you guys to get in the habit for the whole unit, it's pretty much nearest tenth. So just make that 18.3. If you remember for area, we actually do the units. Units is just like inches, centimeters, meters, kilometers, miles. And then if it's area, that's squared. I always think like for a house, if they tell you the square footage, they'll say like it's 1,500 square feet. Okay, so that gets the little squared on the end. All right, second shape is a what? Parallelogram. Okay, so then we're just going to do base times height. All right, Alex, what would the base be? Good. Times, Gabe, why do we know 6 is the height? What shows us that?
It's straight.
Right, straight up. So 8.3 times 6. McKenna, can you let me know what that is?
49.8.
Okay, and then I would label that yards squared. Okay, this is maybe the one that we might see some confusion on sometime. What shape is this? Trapezoid, good. So please double check your formula when doing trapezoid because you get the formula, okay? So I just want to make sure that you plug in correctly. So I do half. If you want to do 0.5, that's the same as half, right? Times, oops, I was going to do x. What is the height? 7. Okay, now here they kind of try to trick you. So then we do base plus base. So take a quick glance up here. So we did pick 7 because it's the straight up one, or has the 90 there. Which two are the bases? 3.2 and 9. So it's your two parallel lines, okay? So what do I do with the 3.2 and the 9? Add them. Make sure you don't times that. All right, now you can type this whole part in your calculator. You don't have to simplify the parentheses first, okay? So I'll show you what that looks like here. All right, so that should come out to 42.7, and then again, yards squared. I think on the homework check and things, it's like it gives you the unit, so you would just type in the number because there's not really a way for you guys to type the squared, okay? So just a heads up on that. All right, this one is obviously a circle. Did they give us the radius here or the diameter? Radius. So we are good to just plug in then. So we're going to do pi times 9 squared. So pi times 81. We'll definitely have to round this one to the nearest tenth since we're using pi. All right, what did we get? $254.5. Okay. And that one's kilometers squared, which is a really large circle, but okay. So we have a triangle here. So A equals 1/2 base times height. If you want to use 0.5. Okay, what is the base here? Gotta be careful. So base does not always mean bottom if they've taken your triangle and rotated it. You want to look. So everyone take a pause and look up here, please. On the triangle, look for the two that touch the right angle. So which ones are that? Is that? 8 and 4.3. So see how those two make up that right angle? That's where you're looking. So we don't need the 5. Okay? They try to throw you off on that. So I'm going to do times 4.3 times 8. Grace, what'd that give you? Okay. All right, and the last one, is this a square or a rectangle? Square, because they're all equal. So then I can just do what number, or what can I do? What do I do to multiply there? What am I going to multiply? Side squared, so 3.8 squared, because it's just times itself. Corbin, do you have that already? Lydia, what'd you get? 14.44, so we're going to leave that at 0.4 meters squared. Good. Okay, does all that look a little familiar from some point in your elementary, middle school past, hopefully? Okay, these questions are a little bit different. We're looking at a set of information. We're going to plug in everything, all the measurements we know into the formula, and then solve for what's missing. So this one says, given a trapezoid has an area of 29.5 yards squared, well, the formula for a trapezoid's area is 1/2 times the height times base 1 plus base 2. Okay, and then if they give us the area, we're going to plug that into the A, so 29.5. If you want to put 0.5 instead of half, times the height is 5, multiplied by base 1 plus base 2. They give us one base is 8, and we don't know the other. It doesn't matter which you plug into there, B1 or B2. All right, and then I need to simplify this right side before I go on. All of this here is multiplication, so I just want to work like left to right. So I'm going to do 0.5 times 5, or half of 5, which is 2.5. And then bring this down. I'm going to have to distribute this. Okay, so kind of running out of space, but move this over here actually. All right, so 2.5 times 8 is 20, and then 2.5 times b would be 2.5b. I would subtract 20, leaving me with 9.5 equals 2.5b. Divide by 2.5. And that gives us a base of 3.8. Okay, really similar here with 2, so take a pause and try to solve that. I will give you the formula for triangle to start is 1/2 base times height. So pause, try to solve that, and when you restart it, the answer will be there. Okay, just wanted to show you something real quick. When I simplified here, I did 0.5 times 5.1. I got 2.55. Don't round that until the end, so I'm going to leave that as that for now instead of making it 2.6. All right, and then this is being multiplied with the b, so I will divide to get b by itself. And 23 divided by 2.55 gives me about 9. And that would be inches technically. All right, I'm gonna go ahead and skip 3 and 4. Okay, then they're the same thing, but so find the side first, then find the perimeter of each given shape. So the perimeter of a square with an area of 400. So if it helps you to draw a picture, you can. So a square, I know all those sides are equal, and the area is 400. So you want to think like what number times itself would give you 400, or plug into the area formula, which is A equals side squared. Well, to get rid of that squared, I would just square root that, and the square root of 400 is 20. So that means this side's 20, this side's 20, and also these two sides. So the easiest way to find the perimeter in this case would be the side times how many sides, which is 4. So the perimeter is 80 inches. And on this one, I could just do times 4 because all the sides are congruent. You can't always do that. Okay, same thing here. If they give us the rectangle with an area of 400, and they give us the length is 25. Well, that makes this 25 and this 25, but I need this width over here. So So I would say the area is 400 equals 25 times the width, divide by 25. Gives me a width of 16, which makes that be here and here. And then there's a few ways you could do the perimeter on this. Essentially, you're just going to add all 4 sides. You could also do 25 plus 16 and then times it by 2. You could do 2 times 16 plus 2 times 25, which is really what this is. Any number of things, okay? You can do just add them all if that's what you prefer. And you should get 82 inches. Perimeter is just measured in regular measurements, not squared. So if you notice, the one was a square, had an area of 400, but a perimeter of 80, and then 2, they had the same area, but since it was a rectangle, their perimeter was slightly different. All right, area of regular polygons. So this will be a little bit new for you, whereas a lot of the other stuff has been a review. Regular polygon, this could be a pentagon, hexagon, octagon, nonagon, etc. And the formula is A equals 1/2 A lowercase and capital P. All right, so if you're looking at this, the apothem is the A, and that's a segment that's drawn from the center of a regular polygon to a right angle on the side. So it is this segment here. So that'll be our A. Okay, the perimeter is the sum of the sides, and there's our P. So let's say this is a side. Well, if it's regular, I know that all of these are congruent. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 sides. So for the perimeter, I could do S times 6. S per side, whatever that measurement would be. All right, so I'll try this one here. A equals 1/2 the A capital P. So 1/2 I can make 0.5 times the apothem is 19.1. And then the perimeter, and I like to write this in parentheses just to kind of show you guys what I'm doing. So the perimeter I write in parentheses, sorry. So one side is 22, and this has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 sides. So I do 22 times 6. And then you can type all of this in your calculator at once. Okay, and I got 1,260.6. That is area. They didn't really give us units, so I could just do units squared or U squared. Okay. I want you guys to try this second one, and so take a pause. When you play, the answer will be there. Okay, should have gotten 616.5 units squared. This was a nonagon, or 9 sides, so my perimeter in here was one side was 10 times 9. Okay, and then these last two, they just give you, well, for this section, they give you the name, so you need to know how many sides that is. So a nonagon is 9 sides, whereas a pentagon is 5. The only thing we do different then, so 1/2 times apothem's 9.4, and then for the perimeter, I would do side length times 9. Got 287.64. You should round these to the nearest tenth, so 287.6 units squared. Okay, go ahead and try this last one on this section and pause, and I'll have the answer when you click play. Okay, I got 154.375. Nearest tenth would be 154.4 units squared. Whoa. Okay, last little bit here, and we may not do all of it. I may take a couple out here. All right, composite shapes, and you've done this also, I think 7th grade though, so I know that's a bit of a throwback, but composite shapes are just made of multiple basic shapes that are put together. All right, so you're just gonna do like area of the triangle, area of the rectangle, and then do what with them? Add them. Okay, so find the area of each individual shape, add them together. We do have a couple here that says to find the shaded region, okay? So let's see, only give the area of the shaded, yes. So if we look at like 3, if they just want the shaded part, I could find the rectangle and then find the triangle. And what would I do? So it's kind of thinking if you took a piece of paper and you cut out a triangle and they want the new area, what would you do with that triangle's area? Subtract it, yes. Okay, so that's the same thing, except instead of adding it, you're going to subtract it. All right, so let's look at number 1. Okay, we have 2 shapes here. What is the first shape we have? The easiest one probably. A rectangle, okay? One thing you really have to be careful with is does it give you like the correct measurements you need? So for the rectangle, and I do a lot of this, I draw the picture of what I'm looking at and say how many. So I have one of those rectangles, okay? Well, the width would be 12, the length is 23. What do I do with those to get the area? Nope, not perimeter. Area. Multiply. So just do 12 times 23. Which is 276. And I like to write it in that shape so I know that one is done. Okay, main thing in this unit a lot of times is staying organized, okay? All right, what shape is on bottom here? Trapezoid, good. And there is something we don't have, but we'll come back to that. So for my trapezoid, so that's 0.5 times height. Do I have the height of that trapezoid? Right, you need to subtract. Good. So the whole, look close here, please. The whole side is 18. If this over here is 12, how do I find this height? Subtract 12 from 18, which is going to be what? 6. Does that make sense how to find that? You're going to get that somewhere. You have to find that missing part. So I'm going to do half times the height is 6 times, and then what do I do with the bases on a trapezoid? Do what with them? Add them, okay? So one of the bases is what? Nolan, what's one of the bases? 15 plus, Kyle, what's the other base? 23, because it's going to be the same as this other, and just type all that in. So half of 6 is 3 times 15 plus 23. Thank you.
Mine is in here, so I need 17. David's really good at counting, so he can.
All right, what'd you guys get? Alexis, did you get it? Yes, 114. Oops. And then I said, I like to write it over here just so I know I did the top shape, I did the bottom, I'm all good. And what do I do to find their total then? What am I going to do? Just add them. So I'm going to do 276 plus 114. So 390, and that is area. So centimeters squared. All right, so any questions on that one? It really shouldn't be harder, it's just going to be a little bit longer, okay? All right, and then we're going to skip 2 and do 3. So one thing that's kind of important to keep in mind is what is the overall shape? What's the outside shape? So start with that, okay? So my rectangle is what I want to start with. So it's 25 by 14. So multiply those to get the area. 14 times 25 is, yes. So that's 350, okay? I'm gonna just keep that there and leave a little space underneath here for a minute. I'm gonna come back to that. Now the triangle is what's being cut out, right? So I find the area of that triangle. So 1/2 times, what's the base of the triangle? Remember, look where the right angle meets. What would the base be? 25, good. Times, what's the height? 11, good. So 1/2 of 25 times 11. You will get a decimal. Brendan, what'd you get?
137.5.
Good. Okay, and then Alyssa, if I want the shaded area only, so I have this paper, for example, and I cut out a triangle, what am I gonna do? So this is the part I want. What was the rectangle's area? We have that, right? The 350? Okay, so you have that. You're cutting out the triangle. So cut out, you think, add or subtract? Subtract the triangle. Okay? I got 212.5. Yeah? And is that area? Do I need to square my units or not?
Yes.
Yes, good. Okay. All right, that is all for today. Make sure, so when you come in next time for your bell work, there's one kind of similar for each, okay?